my friends are Sims.
Just a wee quick introduction to what I'm doing today. I wanted to make a track with the Zoom ARQ AR-48, which is this beautifully weird UFO-like device. I've done a video before on what it is, but you might recognise it because Zoom were basically getting rid of them for dirt cheap a few months ago, or was it a year ago? Can't mind at this point. It was at the start of lockdown, so it probably was a year ago, but they were selling them off for dirt cheap. They were like £70 or less than that. God, it's right. They were like £70 or something at one point, even though originally they were meant to be £400. So I got one of them at that point and I played about with it for a while, but I haven't really made any full tracks with it. So I sat down the other night and was playing about with the sequencer and stuff, and it's good fun to come up with ideas, and I came up with something, and now I want to actually make it into a track. I don't want to perform it or anything on that thing, because the problem with its song mode is that it's a bit flaky, and if you try and put effects on top of the sequences, when you go into the next sequence it cuts off the reverb tail or the delay tail or whatever effect you've got on, so it's not great. It's still got a bunch of bugs and odd workflow things that, you know, it's got quite specific, you know, areas where it's good and areas where it's definitely not good. But anyway, I want to separate out the drum tracks and the bass and everything anyway, and then kind of flesh it out with my other stuff. So that's what I'm going to do. What I've got planned is I've soloed the drum tracks on this, and then I'm just going to run through the patterns. I'm going to record them into Logic. It doesn't have a DIN MIDI cable in, so I can't go through my trusty multi-clock. I'll have to just take the clock from the DAW, but that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through, record the individual parts separately, chop them up, and then add things on top of them and see how it comes out in the end. So here we go.
And we hung the nightstands first because we wanted to just make sure the molding was gonna like fit nicely. Same shape as in that inspo photo, but I put this print in the middle.
I think that's it. Initially, I had thought I might have to add on a whole bunch of extra instrumentation and more, sequences and stuff from different synthesizers. But actually, as it turns out, the composition, or at least the parts that I'd written on the ARQ-48 itself, stood up on their own. So I've got a drum track, which is very straightforward from the ARQ. I've got a bass line, which is really the main star of the show, and then I've got a distorted guitar sound. And as you saw, to give some flavour, I added some swoops and bloops and wobs and stuff from that variable phase generator test equipment. And that's about it. I'm trying to get away from the idea that you always have to, or you always should add more things to make something more interesting. Sometimes repeating things or just leaving them more minimalist actually sounds better if you have the confidence to do it. So that's what I'm trying to do, rather than loading everything up. And that's it. So I'm going to play the track out now.